When the clock hit 12 a.m. January 1st, 2026, I was so excited, and I feel like I've been struggling to keep up with everything going on since it happened. I feel like I'm in a race with Usain Bolt where I'm trying my best to keep up, but my man is all the way at the finish line and I've just started running. To let you in a little bit on what I've been working on, this month for me turned into a mixing and mastering month. A lot of clients have hit me up and asked me to get mixes out for them, which is awesome. Super grateful to do that. And if you're needing that, let me know, hit me with an email. But it's not giving me a lot of time to cook up in the studio. And to be honest, my favorite thing to post on this channel is cookups. I just think it's so fun. I love watching my own creative process, and I hope you guys enjoy that too. Since I didn't have a lot of time, I wanted to get a jump start on the creativity. And so I was using some starters from a friend who's actually somebody I met through this channel. His name's Chris X Atkins. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make 2 loops and 1 beat, all in the kind of rod wave pain style. It's been a minute since I've cooked up in that style, and so let's have some fun. Let's cook that up. Just before we jump in, the loops and the beat, and I've got some special MIDI available on the Patreon for this week. Let's jump in to loop number 1. Using a starter that I got from Chris. His Instagram is Chris X Atkins. So the first thing is, when you're using a starter, you're typically not gonna be coming with the central main idea, but you're more thinking of textures, ways to embellish the thing that's already there, as well as give it a bit more context. I usually try and extend a starter out to about 1.5 minutes so that it kind of gives it a bit more context. So first things first, I'm gonna jump on an electric guitar. First thing I found was just a cool lead tone. With my pedals, I was having a ton of fun. I'm using the Chroma console to create this reverse delay, and it's kind of wacky. And then off of that main lead line, I'm adding this kind of complementary counterpoint lead line. I love these kind of chugged plucks on the electric. It's kind of subtle, you can turn them down, but it just kind of gives this pulse underneath the loop. Okay, and I couldn't help myself, another reverse delay, but this time from the Mood Mark II from Chase Bliss. With this one, because it's so wacky, I'm using a filter to darken it, as well as I'm using kickstart, so that has a pulse that's locked to the grid. All right, moving on to acoustic, let's drum in some chords. And stack that up, another layer of chords. Guessed it, another layer of chords. There's a reason why I'm stacking a bunch of different layers. I'm using different textures with how I'm strumming or plucking, and so sometimes I'll be more intentional with the nail, maybe more with the finger or the thumb to make it softer, more mellow. But you stack all these different flavors and combinations together, and it creates a really beautiful symphony of acoustic guitar. There's a really cool vocal in this starter, and so I thought it would be fun to chop it up and kind of create this alternate section B with some cool new rhythms. Creating a drum groove. I'm actually going to filter this down so that it's very subtle, but it's just going to be a nice soft verbed out element. So filter and reverb once we got it down. Onto some strings and adding some harmonies on it just to make it nice and wide. slide guitar, can't help myself. It's my favorite sound. Adding a bass. I've gone back to my Yamaha bass, which for some reason is just, I'm liking the punchiness of it a bit more. And just like that, let's check out the loop we made.
You look at the floor when I get too close, like loving me might hurt the most. Don't
All right, sample 1 complete. Let's move on to project number 2. I'm gonna make a beat off of a track I made actually in this video right there in the corner at a couple minutes after a long day of mixing. And so let's put some drums on this and have some fun. Starting out with the kick, give it that pocket. Then I moved on to snare. Open hats, playing off of the kick, playing off of the snare, gives a lot of vibe. Percussion, I'm basically using an assortment of rims to create this cool alternate pocket. I will say I didn't play it in very well, so quantization is my best friend for this one. Moving on to hi-hats, I've got 2 different sections. One of them is kind of a more spacey open hi-hat pattern, and the second one is a 2-step to give a ton of energy for the verses. I'm not gonna try and overcomplicate it too much. I had to focus in on the arrangement a little bit just to make sure it had the right lifts and try to pay attention to where the beat should cut and where the beat should come back in and really slap and knock. If you're enjoying this cook-up, please hit that subscribe button and like button. And this is where we landed for beat number 2.
Okay, Max.
All right, last one for the day, another collab with my boy Chris. First thing on this one, I'm gonna start with the acoustic guitar.
what I thought it was. Late nights have choose your hand, almost touching mine. I was falling fast, you were killing time. Guess I love the idea more than what we.
So I'm just layering up a bunch of different parts. I'm using the same concept where I'm using different ways of strumming or plucking to create a symphony on the acoustic guitar.
What I thought it was. Late nights have choose your hand, almost touching. Falling fast, you were killing time. Guess I love.
All right, after acoustic guitar, I moved on to some vocals. I wanted to actually double the sampled vocal. I actually wanted to double that vocal that was in the starter already, and I thought it'd be cool to just do it in a low octave just to get some width.
More than what we had.
I'm adding some vocal runs in the back. This will be for section B.
More than what we had. More than what we had. More than what we had.
And then I'm actually chopping up the vocal again. Something I love about chopping up vocal samples is that it gives it such a cool rhythm. Moving on to bass, just really focusing in on the pocket, on the groove. Same vibe, I wanted to add some drums to give a pocket, and then we're going to filter it and add some room reverb, and then it's going to be kind of this nice sub layer. Stacking up strings using BBC, Contact, and then adding in my secret plugin, which I told you about in the last video, Dirty Tape. This just makes the strings sound so vintage. It's actually insane. You just throw it on, turn it up a little bit, and boom. All right, let's check out the third loop. All right, thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe and like button. Loops, MIDI, beat available on the Patreon, and I will see you guys next week with another video.